What's up, guys? Welcome back to Breakout Trading. I'm going to be going over some of the trades I made today. So first off, we'll start here on the SPY. You can see that this massive bull flag is actually, or bear flag is actually continuing up, which is unexpected. So a lot of people I know were actually short. They were buying puts along this move, so they are all not doing too hot right now. Yeah, weird Monday, a gap up, and then we pretty much broke above this 262 level. We did break above this 262 level, which was 2 weeks ago high. So I thought once we tapped this and we pulled back, we were going to continue down, but looks like the grind is still going upwards. So my next major level of resistance is actually going to be all the way up here at 273, and then major 285. I really don't think we get higher than 285 before a bigger pullback to the downside. But anyways, this was today, April 6th, 2020. Pretty much just green all day. Really nice for the type of trading I do, just consistent green, making those shorts hurt and giving us some nice pumps. So yeah, we'll get into it. The first trade I made today was on 2 TWO. So we had today was a bit of a day. I ended up exactly $1 loss after taking a pretty big loss in the morning and then making it pretty much all of it back on AKER. So we'll be going over what happened there and whatnot. So first off, this is TWO, and this is not my style, not my setup really. I pretty much botched it on this one. So you can see that this was the open here. We had an initial morning pullback. I always mark off the high of the morning pump, and then we came back up, tested this, and then had a nice sort of consolidation curve here. And I noticed that it looked like kind of like a mini cup and handle. And then I decided to buy this break here for a quick scalp, and it didn't really have much volume on that break, and it turned out to have like zero follow through. And this wasn't really a good trade. It was a terrible trade, actually. I've noticed that you either have to, there's certain times in the day where you can do certain things. So you either got to be trading right in the morning for the first half an hour after the open, and then I've noticed that after about the first 40 minutes after the open, there's kind of like a sell-off time for about an hour until there's some more surging later in the afternoon. But anyways, this was a terrible entry here. So we ended up taking, as you can see here, we ended up taking, what's this? This is our 40 shares at 336. So pretty much buying the high of day, unfortunately. And I decided I pretty much had to get out when it broke VWAP. I was waiting for some sort of bounce to get out. First off, this 330 broke right through. Then I was hoping the 9 EMA could come up. 9 EMA goes, and then VWAP can't even hold it. Had to get out of this thing right away. There's no way I could anticipate this curl up. It looked super weak after its chance to kind of shine there. So, yeah, bought my 40 here and then stopped out at 305 here. Yeah, I was on the wrong screen, but here's the, yeah, so breakout here looks super weak, just had to take the L. And there was nothing wrong with that trade, but immediately after that one, I did one of the worst trades I've ever made. This one was a complete noob trade on XAN. I don't want to show this one, but oof, yeah. I don't know what the thought process was here. I tried to long, this thing opened up at the day at 1:30, and I tried to long it at 2:30. It was already up 100%, pretty much. And I literally bought the top like a chump. What I went for was this break of 205 here, pulls back. I was watching it, and then I saw the break here, and I initially on this wick here I had to order at 205 to get in, and it missed me, so I was like, oh, this thing looks really strong, it's got good volume, but it was just too overextended. You can't buy into something that looks like that and expect it to keep going up. I was bound to get rolled over on. Completely dumps, no bounce whatsoever. It gets caught between here, and then on the 9 EMA VWAP cross, I decided to hop out, and that was a pretty, oops, and that was a pretty hefty loss on the morning. That's a terrible way to start a day. You don't want to do that. Buying tops right in the morning. That put me down $33. And at this point on the day, I did something that I should never do, and I know this. I broke rules of mine, and I'm not proud of it. I have to work on this in the future, because this is never going to get me far if I break these rules. But I went below my max loss. My max loss for the day is $15. And after Zan, I really wanted this to work because I didn't want to be done for the day and just know that I'd be negative on the day. So I just kind of started swinging for the fences after Zan, because I was like, no, there's no way I'm being red on Monday like this. This is brutal. I bought 2 tops. This is, you know, I gave all the excuses, and you can never do that. So this is completely unacceptable. Look at this. I bought the very top. Didn't wait for my setup at all. If I wanted to play the setup, I would have bought here on the cross and then sold into the break of the high of day. So I've been selling into here, and my last bit would have been sold at the 1.618 if we ever got there, which we did not. Yeah, unacceptable to be buying tops like that. Really nasty. Yeah, this one I just let get away from me. Just not something you want to see. But I don't know, I must have pulled something together because my next 2 trades were really good actually. So we hopped in INO, and see, after about a certain amount of time on the day, things kind of start to pick up. This is where my strategy really takes hold. It's about 11 a.m. New York time, or it would be 9 a.m. for me. So this chart's pretty crowded right now. Expand this. So this is INO today, and it pretty much perfectly fit my criteria. I'm just trying to get it right. Okay, kind of see that. So anyways, we had the huge surge up in the morning. That's what this arrow indicates here. Huge surge up, consolidation, and then this is the, volume cool off. This is the time of day that you do not want to be going long on tops, which I was. And then we have this consolidation phase, and then you can see that right here, it kind of starts to curl up a bit, starts to find some support on the 9 EMA, and gets resistance on VWAP. And then right about here, I'm starting to think this thing's going to break, so I start to hop in with, so here's the 2 entry, the Zan entry, and then both of those stop outs. And then INO, I ended up buying 50 shares at 812 and 50 shares at 811. So here, 50 shares at 811, 50 shares at 812, anticipating the cross. The cross comes, and then I see this nice volume surge right here. I sell into the initial pump. It kind of gets overextended. I wait for the 9 EMA to come up as support, and then it just kind of blasted right through that. My stop was underneath VWAP, rated around like 810 area, which is where I always have it for this this setup. Here, let's delete these now that we're done with them. Yeah, so I've really noticed that watching the volume is just as important as watching the price action, because if the volume says just as much about what's going to happen as the price does. So here we have the initial pump, but we hold VWAP as support. I took off the last bit here because it looked like we were going to make a bit of a lower high here. I would have ended up getting stopped out because my stop was at around 810 below VWAP. And then we end up holding VWAP as support and then breaking out of this little triangle here for the next leg up, and ended up blasting through high of day And just out of curiosity, I wonder if we made it to the 1 point. No, not quite. Yeah, so could have hold on to this one longer. Don't regret taking it off early because we broke that 9 EMA, which is my indication of whether the trend is reversing or not. Yeah, so that was a pretty good trade. And I've noticed too that I got to go in with a bit bigger size. Like on this one, I was in with $800. So if you keep your stops tight, you almost have to, because you're gonna get eaten alive by commissions if you make 10 bucks, or not even, if you make 5 bucks and it's $3 for commission. There's no point taking the trade. You gotta put on some size, especially for nice squeeze setups like this, and then take your profits early right there. You can see we rallied pretty nice into the afternoon, except that 9 EMA was kind of disgusting support. This was not the cleanest. This one was my AKER trade, was really nice. This is picture perfect. So zoom in a bit here. Okay, picture perfect trade right here. So this is the morning. This is everything I'm looking for. This was the same as CGBX, I think it was. Last week, picture perfect. So we get the initial morning surge indicated by this arrow, and then that phase of cool off of the volume, and we're holding a nice, we're below VWAP, which is a negative. I'd rather see it holding support on VWAP, but that's alright, we're below. We dip down to the previous low here, make a bit of a double bottom, actually a bit of an Adam and Eve actually, spike here, and then a nice curved bottom. So this is, I initially wanted to buy down here and have my stop below like 263 or something, because I thought this would be a nice support, which it turned out to be, but then we started to curl up, and then after the initial impulse and the cool down phase on the volume, we got the consolidation phase, and then right here, this is what you want to look for this this setup to work. You want to look for a reaction when we have this cross. You can see what happened here was, as soon as we have the cross here, I see a big volume reaction. We pop back above VWAP, and then come down and start to test this support, and here comes the cross. I ended up buying 80 shares on the volume surge, and another 80 shares down here, 319 on the cross. So 80 and 80, so I'm in for 160 at around 320. So this one I'm in $512, which is weird because I feel like I did make a ton more money on this one than the other one where I was in for 800, so I'll have to figure out that way, maybe because it's lower float. But anyways, we have the cross, we have the volume pump, and then I start to take off a bit of profits as we go up. I took off 40 at right here, 40 shares, and then I took off another 40, and then the rest up here, because we were starting to look a little bit heavy. I remember we came up first here, and then the first test of the EMA was pretty heavy, so I took some off at the next one, at the next pump. But this turned out to be an epic one. Look at how high we went up. Unfortunately, I did not capitalize on the whole move, but I'm happy with what I had. We had this huge consolidation period here, and then a big blast up in volume past the previous high of day. Formed a bit of a bull flag here. The volume profile matches, and then another explosion outwards. So I called it a day because I didn't follow my rules at all, but that would have been awesome to trade throughout the day, and I'm going to be probably watching this one into tomorrow because that one had a pretty strong day. So anyways, that's all for now. We will continue modifying and doing this strategy, and I will continue making these videos, and hopefully we can actually get some gains going. It's getting a little brutal just scraping by every day, getting eaten alive by commissions, but I have faith. I'm improving. I'm confident. I write everything down every day. Keep a notebook. Yeah, just keep on working. So, adios.